So the question I'm going to be focusing on today is, to what extent will technology growth impact the development of our society? I was inspired to research this question based on the context of the stimulus sources, as most of them focused on change and its interactions with our society and how it affects different people. One source in particular that affected my research was Gaming Can Make a Better World by Jane McGonigal, and I will focus on that later. So, what are some already observed effects of the change for some context? For example, in the United Kingdom, internet transactions already account for almost 1/5 of retail sales, excluding gasoline, up from just 1/20th in 2008. So, this document was published in 2018, so over a decade time span, there's been a 4 times increase in sales online. So, it's already a very significant change, and it has continued to grow up until today. So, how could this development affect us in the future? So, in Gaming Can Make a Better World, Ms. McGonigal explains how massively multiplayer online games, and in addition to that, other games can create a very tightly connected community, and it can affect how people reach their goals and allows them to see the bigger picture and can work with others to get to that goal. In addition to this, Larry Gigerich, who is an executive managing director, explains that by recognizing the importance of talent, technology, and automation, businesses can position themselves to improve job opportunities and wealth creations for residents and businesses in the community. So by implementing technology and automation into their businesses, they can see these benefits in the future. What impact does technology change have on economics? So Linda Gorman from the National Bureau of Economic Research explained that changes in technology are the only source of permanent increases in productivity, but a number of transient factors can also affect both true and measured productivity. So what she explains by this quote solidifies my claim that changes in technology are the only permanent source of change. There are other small changes, like having greater vacation times for employees or shorter work weeks, but that change isn't going to be permanent, and it's going to fall off in the years to come, whereas implementing technology into the workplace can increase its economic output. So this chart shows the GDP growth in the Philippines. So the green bar represents the total revenue from telecommunication services in US dollars, and the blue line represents fixed telephone service revenues, and the red line shows mobile service revenues. So from 2000 to 2011, there's been nearly a $3 million increase in both total revenue from telecommunication services and mobile service revenues. So in this chart, you can see that this change has already occurred, and it is continuing to go upwards into the future. So what are some solutions to supporting this growth and nurturing it along? One solution would be government subsidized development plans. So governments could give money to telecommunication companies such as Verizon, Comcast, Spectrum, and they could give them money so that they can build greater broadband networks and bring high-speed internet to more rural parts of the countries such as Idaho, Wyoming, Colorado. The implication of this solution is that in the past, telecommunication companies haven't been the best at doing what they say they're going to do with the money. For example, they had taken $20 billion from the taxpayers and pocketed most of that money without doing very much development. But in response to that implication, what the government could do is that they could trickle the money into the businesses. So they could give them $1 million, make sure that it's used to develop, and then slowly increase the amount of money they give the business so that they can ensure that there's a broadband network being built. Another solution would be improving technology skills in secondary education, like in the U.S. that would be high school. So by doing this, businesses can expect the new wave of employees to have basic technology skills, so that way when they implement it into their business, they don't have to worry about educating their employees on how to interact and work with the technology. An implication of this is that schools already have a very vast number of classes, so it would be even harder to add another class to them, and to have like a physical classroom to teach those technology skills. But in response to that, the schools could offer online courses so that the students can teach themselves on how to interact with that technology and further increase their understanding of it. And then I'll explain.
Okay, a couple of questions for you, Joey. The first one is, what information did you need before you began your research, and how did that information shape your research?
Some information that I knew I would need was like specific examples of the effects, like past examples of that technology growth. So the graph of the Philippines, I knew I would need something like this to show that economic growth to support my development.
Okay, and then your second one is, what advice would you have for other researchers who consider this topic?
So something I would advise other people to do would be to find specific examples of the evidence, because it's already, like most people know, there's already development and how it affects us, but by having those specific examples of how it changes us, they can further support their claim and make a more stronger argument.